I think we're live. Howdy, everybody. This is Johnny DriveBYE here. Today, I haven't been around for a while, but I decided to bring Geoff Cooper here. I keep wanting to say Geoff yet. I don't know why. Anyway, he's got his own channel. I think I have I haven't put the links up yet, but I'll get some links up for you later. Anyway, what was you were with Braxton Hunter? You were doing some responses to him just recently.
Yeah.
Did you finish that last one now? The other, like 2 days ago, right? So you got them all out?
Yeah, they're all up now. I originally tried to do just one shot of it, and it was turning into over an hour. So I was just like, nah, nobody's going to pay attention to this. The way the YouTube goes, I mean, it'll be like they'll see the answers to question 1, maybe 2, and then start dropping off. So I wound up doing a 5-part freaking series on it.
It seems like I don't know. It's not Gish Galop that they do, but he seems like he goes off on so many tangents on his questions that he's got. Did you see my response?
Some of the phrasing that Braxton used was problematic, I would say.
Yeah. He's trying to get to sway you with questions. There are questions that needed to be answered by questions to me, but he's trying to sway you into believing something or whatever. That's kind of his. There's an agenda behind it, I guess. It's not an actual.
Oh yeah, of course there's an agenda. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think most of that which Braxton was pushing, I think, was toward he has a real problem with lack theists, and I think that he was primarily targeting them and trying to point out inconsistencies with that position as he sees it. I think that's how the majority of those questions were. And then the other thing was those that had been part of Christianity but had deconverted. And I think he tried to tap into a lot of the latent Christianity that often holds on after somebody goes through something like that. Which, in my case, was largely not applicable because
I was going to say, in my case, too. That's one of the reasons that I really wanted to have you on, is because there aren't many of us that never had a deconversion story, and I just never believed myself, and I don't know. So it doesn't. Yeah, like you said, with Braxton, it doesn't fit with his. It's right. We don't really fit into his questioning. So, that's why my response was like, whatever. I just kind of did some animation, had a little fun with it. So,
yeah. No, I mean, my religious experience was more of attempted indoctrination failing, rather than like this really cool deconversion story, like somebody like Paula G or Pine Creek Cats. I don't got something like that.
I honestly feel a little bit out of place when it comes to some of them conversations when they talk about their deconversion. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I kind of got involved in the community, because I love hearing the deconversion stories. That's what got me addicted to doing videos and stuff. But I feel like I can't quite put myself. I can't walk those shoes, so I feel a little bit out of place sometimes with it, and not even sure how. I don't know. I get it a little bit because I know how what it's like to be fooled into believing something that isn't really true, but I guess I can't quite get that far where you're. Yeah, I never did get the thing of. I was never told that God was real, so I guess there you have it.
Right. Yeah, it can be. I find many of them fascinating. Just like wow, like this is, some of the things that these people went through and what they sacrificed to leave their religion. That to me that's quite impressive.
Hey, Math Pig, an Irishman in the chat.
Oh, there's Math Pig. Yay! Yeah, I'm not watching the YouTube chat. I can't do.
I'll keep an eye on it.
I can't do both. It freaks me out too much.
I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I'll try to, I could try to keep that going. But, yeah, it doesn't, it just freaks me out too much.
Yeah. I'm gonna change this around until we actually do the what do you call it? Response to the Alpha and the Omega Ministries.
Yeah.
Where were we? I kind of got lost. Math Pig, you broke my concentration. Jeez.
No, we were talking about, the people that have deconverted and some
yeah.
went through in order to, to go through that.
I'm trying to think of. It's 1, 2, Bionic Dance. Logic would be one. That's. Yeah, I can't think of too many more right off the top of my head, to be honest with you, because there are not many people don't have it, because it's. I mean, religion is everywhere. I've seen it all around me.
Ubiquitous thing. That's part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, and and I don't know. I just hate people when they say, "Well, this happened" or whatever. And I saw, when you see ghost stories or things that bother me, because it's like I look at your peripheral, and then when this little something happens moving over there, you're gonna think that your mind creates fills in the rest of the blanks on that. And depending upon your mood, how much adrenaline you got going, and all that, you're gonna see things. And I've taken LSD in my life, so I know how much things could look real when you're not really seeing them.
Right.
At least I have my own anecdotal evidence for that. And I think that's evidence too that there isn't a God. So I'm a strong atheist, and you are too, correct?
It depends on the definition of the divine that we're using. Some of them I can be a little more on board with as plausible. And, some of them I'm like, yeah, that one doesn't exist, and that one can't exist. So it really depends, on what they mean by, the God in question.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think in most circumstances, in most conversations that we'd be having, when we're talking about an Abrahamic kind of God, I'm in one of two camps there. Either does not or cannot exist.
Okay. I'm pretty much. I think the evidence that people can make up stories and people tell little fibs. In fact, a little toddler, they learn how to lie to get their way pretty quick. But I think and stories get exaggerated as they go. And I mean,
well, that's the nature of storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling, if I was to tell you a story and say there was some little tidbit that you needed clarification on, right? And I didn't know, and I just kind of threw in a little something, why is this hill there? Oh, because this is where, the giants from that other story, yeah, this is where the giants are buried. That's why there's a hill here. And that's how things keep going. You maintain that...
Well, they got the Anunnaki, blah, 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 and the ninth planet, and...
Yeah, next thing you know, I mean, you can make up all sorts of supernatural reasons for things.
Yep.
And as long as you stay consistent in the presentation of them, which isn't all that difficult, then, boom, you have a supernatural, aspect to what people perceive as reality.
Well, not to get in too much into the political realm, but look at how many people are just basically okay. So one of these stories has got to be false out there, and I'm pretty sure I got a good grasp on how to figure out what's a good story and what's a bad story, or what's a false narrative. All the memes that Facebook has and stuff that are pumping all these, the voter fraud thing for one thing. I mean, that's it doesn't happen. Look at you. There's plenty of studies out there. You can look at it. They're all there. Who is it? George Bush. He actually did something to try and find voter fraud because he wanted to do it for his election thing, and 0.02% people or something like that? I mean, isn't that
Yeah, I mean, there's that one jitbag in Texas, the lieutenant governor, who was he put up a reward for confirmed voter fraud, and the lieutenant governor of my state was like, "Hey, we got a dude out here in 44th that tried to vote for his dead grandma. You know, there was like 3 cases of voter fraud in all of Pennsylvania, and all 3 of them were from Trump. You know, they were for Trump. You know, so it's like Lieutenant Governor Fetterman's like, hey, you owe us $3 million. You can pay up in Sheetz gift cards anytime soon. Now that'll be fine."
Grumpy old Dave says that.
What is the guy's name? Patrick?
I'm not sure. Grumpy old Dave says that you're
in a lieutenant governor from Texas is.
Grumpy old Dave says that you're in an echo chamber. By the way, I don't hear any echo. I don't hear any echo myself. So
I'm not hearing much.
Is it still there, Dave? Maybe it's you, Dave. Turn your hearing aid down. Well, anyway, I don't hear any echo. Maybe if I put headphones on, huh? I'll just turn the volume down back here.
I'll see what I can do there, Dave.
I did something different now. Let's see if that works.
I don't have anything feeding back.
Oh yeah, Spooky Better said that you're echoing too.
Okay, all right. Let me try it. Because I'm on speakers here.
You got echo. I'm fine. So.
All right. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can figure out what is actually happening.
That might be me too. I have to get some headphones on, but we'll try it. Let me just try this real quick because I got headphones right here.
Well, if you do, that might help. Because maybe what they're hearing is
it could be
from
coming
the
through my mic
Streamlabs
back in the
and
ears.
then kicking out to YouTube. Because there is a delay.
Okay, is that better?
We'll see. How's that?
How's that guy? I think it is me because when I turned down the volume before, he said it got better. So I'm guessing he's going to say that it was coming through my speakers. Hey, what can I say? It's been a while since I've been doing these.
Spooky's saying it sounds a bit better. Grumpy old Dave is saying that.
I agree with Dave. It's a deep state.
That's clearly it.
All right, where were we? Better, not much better, Spooky says. So here we go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was probably it. It was probably just my yap feeding back through his mic.
Now it's going to come out my ears and no echo.
All right.
Yeah, all right, we're good now. I should have set up my other mic. Oh well.
Okay, cool. Good. Betterer and no echo.
But the echo might help if you're going to start singing or something.
Yeah, that's probably not happening for me.
All right, where were we?
I don't know.
I can't remember either. Oh, we were talking about strong atheism, I think, and then
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then we kind of got sidetracked with Fetterman trolling what's his nut from Texas.
And me, it's like squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. My attention span. Okay. Yeah, well, it's I don't know. Let's take a look at this guy here, huh?
Yeah, you got this guy if you wanted us to take a look at.
Yeah, he triggered me. There we go. And I hope that he... Can you hear him all right?
I can't hear him at all.
All right. Can't hear him at all, huh?
No, I couldn't.
I gotta put it on normal speed. That playback speed's tripping me out.
Itself doesn't explicitly speak to like whether wearing a mask slows the spread of COVID. And one of those tests in Scripture is. Do they give us reason to believe that what they're saying is true?
So, can you hear him at all?
Nope.
Really? Okay. What do we got going on here?
Yeah, Spooky's saying that the vid is really, really quiet.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, Spooky, I saw the desk drawer
True.
live stream.
And how do
too.
we
That
know
was- that was
if
neat.
a witness is credible? Well, we know that based on their.
That's good.
That was good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. All right. Well, we started early anyway, so it's actually we're starting the show right now anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This is it.
This
This
it.
is where we really start.
Yeah, that's it. All right.
Got the tech gremlins and crap out of the way.
I hope so.
First time I was on the show back in May, and so don't want to scare anyone or frighten anyone, but that is just the way it is here in December. A lot has happened over the last several months in our country and in the church, and what an interesting and crazy time it's been. And I want to talk about a couple questions that I've been getting asked a lot over the last several months as we've been going through the COVID stuff and the election, all of those things. And one of those questions is, why don't you wear a mask? And I know that James has spent some time talking about masks, and I don't wear a mask. I haven't worn a mask yet.
Now, right there, why? I mean, I don't know about you. You're in the field of where you got to pay attention to that because you're out. What exactly does your job consist of when you're out doing it? I mean, I don't want to hear the gory details, but
Right. I'm a paramedic. Somebody calls 911, needs an ambulance. I'm the guy that shows up. So this guy, yeah. I mean, if you're not going to wear a mask, during a pandemic, you're an idiot. If you're not going to wear a mask during a pandemic, you're going to influence others to not wear a mask during a pandemic. Now you're dangerous.
and he has a following. There's a lot of people
Right.
that watch this channel. I mean,
Right. Now you've gone into dangerous territory.
yeah.
And if you have political motivation for not wearing the mask, now you're into bioterrorism.
Yeah. Oh, good. I never thought of it that way before, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
anyway.
mean, I will, all these people, there was another, he is an atheist. He used to be relevant, something about tides, who was saying that he's not going to wear a mask or anything like that. I'm like, well, you run into me on my job, you're going to wear one. This isn't optional. You will not be consulted. Will not be asked. You will wear one. I will tape it to your face or sedate you if I have to, but you're going to wear one.
I don't know if it's just me, but the argument seems to always change for them too. It's like, well, I don't want to wear it because, and I mean, it's not. You're mainly protecting others from you giving it to them because that you're keeping the germs inside you. That's what you do in a surgery room. You don't want to infect the patient, right?
Right.
So, but they always seem to think that they're protecting themselves, where people are putting it on to protect themselves. But that argument sort of changed a little bit as time went on, because it's just like a little kid whining about something to me, is what it is, most of it.
Yeah, well, the masks, I mean, the primary thing that the masks do, the masks catch the droplets to which the virus can attach. All right? So it keeps you from spreading it.
Yeah.
Where if you're failing to wear a mask, then you are spreading it.
Yep. I totally agree. Let's move on. Let him speak just a little bit more here. I'll probably skip through some of his stuff here because he drags on just yapping. So.
Sure. That in the 9 months, 9 months. Rich, can you believe that? 9 months?
Why don't we try seeing what he...
Yeah, 2 weeks to slow the spread.
Let me see his face so I can kind of get an idea of like where he's coming from with this, rather than just there.
All right.
9 months,
we're
almost
say
a
lot,
year
I think.
into this thing.
Exactly.
9 months to slow the spread, and so I haven't worn a mask in 9 months. Actually, I haven't worn one in my entire life, but over the last 9 months, I haven't worn one. And people have asked why. Why don't I do that? And it's a question I've had to get a lot of thought to, because obviously that's the minority. Everywhere you go to stores, restaurants, anywhere you go, a lot of churches, you see everybody wearing masks. And so the government has mandated that we wear masks in Maricopa County and in all the greater Phoenix area. So why have I made the decision not to wear a mask? And I've got several reasons for that I've thought through as people have asked that question. And it's so common, I thought, I might as well address it, as other people maybe are trying to work through this. Should they wear a mask? Shouldn't they wear a mask? What is going on with the masks? And so let me give you a few reasons why I don't wear a mask. First of all, I don't trust the science. And I'm just going
to... What's not to trust?
Yeah. That's a total to me, that's a misunderstanding of what science is right there.
Yeah, you cannot. All right, fine. Don't trust the science. Trust the math. Okay. The math will stop particles so big from going through. The exhaled vapor is bigger than that. It will stop it. I mean, that's all you need.
You can argue with me.
What else are you talking about here?
You can argue with me, but you can't argue with the numbers, boy. Yeah.
All right. Let's just see what this cretin's
like I said,
gentleman has to say here.
I don't get triggered very easy, but this guy did it.
I'm going to come right out and say that, and if that makes it seem like I'm kind of nutty, maybe I'll defend that a little bit here. But I just don't trust the COVID-19 science. People say, well, follow the science. You've got to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Because we want to follow the science. That's the catchphrase. The government, Biden, I will follow the science if I'm elected to the White House. And I say I don't believe that wearing a mask helps slow the spread. People look at me when I say that like I just claimed the moon was made out of cheese. They can't believe that I would think that, in spite of all of the scientific evidence. I've read articles that people have sent me articles explaining how this helps to slow the spread. I don't trust any of those articles. So, in other words, we can't convince you of anything, right? I mean, well,
it kind of sounds like that. He doesn't trust the articles, but I haven't had a. Fine. You don't trust the articles, okay? All right, you don't understand. I mean, you don't trust the science, okay? To me, that usually says that he doesn't understand the science.
Yeah.
But if he's had people try to send him things and, that he's still rejecting, then it seems to me as if there's something else. Like,
well, there is one thing, though.
That this isn't, he's giving a reason, but not the reason. I mean, you dig that?
He doesn't leave any links to any of these articles that he's talking about. He doesn't leave the comments open. The comments are closed on this video.
I mean, it's a Christian apologist site, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, they're not going to have comments. They might have people like me coming in and saying, "Nah, you're full of shit."
Yeah, and then they might lose a couple followers. Less tithings.
Oh my.
That I've read. And there's some reasons for that. You know, as Christians, we need an objective standard for measuring truth. How do you know if a claim is true? And obviously
Now, that's a good question. That is a good question. Yeah. I mean, okay, well, let's see what he's got to say about it, though.
The baseline test is Scripture. If it doesn't agree with Scripture, then it isn't true.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! Jesus Christ in a chicken basket. You bring me on here to get me angry about this?
I told you this guy triggered me.
Like, what the hell? All right, let's just time out. I'm out.
It's all yours. The floor is yours.
What the hell is Scripture going to say about wearing a mask on viruses that they had no idea existed? Like, there's nothing that it can say. There's nothing that it can say. This, you know, the whole idea of the germ theory of disease is like thousands of years in the future from when this bullshit was written. Why the hell would you consult Scripture about wearing a mask? Like, are you consulting Scripture on what fucking trajectory we should be putting the Voyager probes at? Like, seriously, what are you doing? It's the dumbest thing I ever freaking heard.
Well, how many years is that before the microscope was invented? I mean,
like, the whole thing is goofy.
Yeah.
Oh, let me consult some supernatural literature about the germ theory of disease and whether I should wear a mask during a freaking pandemic.
Hi, Neil. Hi, Wonder Lady.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what? It's just goofy.
I see now. This is why this triggered me so much because I'm an advocate for science. I mean, that's my whole main thing in life is to make everybody understand it a little bit better. Use critical thinking, and this is just not what I stand for. And it's because he's believing that he's presuming that or presuppositionalizing that the book is true. You know, he's saying it's true.
And listen, he's welcome to think that his scripture is true. He's welcome to think that his scripture is meaningful. That doesn't matter to me at all. All right? But he's looking at it from even more of a slant than that.
Yeah.
All right? Homeboy doesn't want to wear a mask. And now he's looking at his supernatural literature to try to justify his not wearing a mask. And he's going to come up with some freaking absolute horseshit. But, he rephrased it back to a Bible verse, and that's supposed to lend it some freaking gravitas. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, was that Susan B. Anthony that said something about it's amazing how the Bible scriptures are exactly what their narrative is or they want.
Yeah. Like, why is there so many different denominations of Christianity? Because, I mean, it's different takeaway narratives from the same freaking book.
All right, we got to see.
Needs an editor.
Here we go. We're going on a little bit further here.
Jesus H. Christ. Can't believe I get angry.
But Scripture gives us ways to determine things that are true.
Oh, maybe he's got something that we don't know about.
Doesn't explicitly speak to, like whether wearing a mask slows the spread of COVID. And one of those tests in Scripture is the test of credible witnesses.
What?
I don't know where he's going here. We got to let him. We're missing some context here because this is. I forgot about.
Do the people that are telling us these things, do they have any credibility? Do they give us reason to believe that what they're saying is...
What people? What people is he talking about? He's just talking about the science. And
I think he's trying to talk about the scientists like he's trying to discredit, the virologists and the, epidemiologists that actually study this thing. He's saying he doesn't trust them. And he's talking about witnesses now from something to do with his, favorite anthology. I don't know. It sounds to me like he's trying to discredit science with this.
I really wish he would have left the link for the articles that he's talking about.
Come on, you want him to back
true?
up what he's saying?
And how do we know if a witness is credible? Well, we know that based on their
Because when we get done torturing them, we know that they told the truth.
Right.
I mean, come on.
track record. Do they consistently tell us the truth? And when you think about science, how do we know if science is telling us the truth about something? And one analogy I like to use is about children.
I really don't like the way he's loosely throwing around the word truth, because the truth is such a subjective thing in a sense. It can be. But not to be
It's really
philosophical.
not. It's really
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I know it-
Can you show it to be true?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm getting
We're not.
philosophical, so. Yeah, I just think he's using it because the truth, he's calling the truth the Bible.
Well,
And
he's fucked from jump.
yeah, I know.
What
And
is-
that's why I said that the word truth is kind of a subjective thing, because now it's like, well, wait a minute. You're just saying that's now you took the word truth that I know into a different definition. That's
Right.
what I'm saying about it.
Okay.
If you have a child who's generally honest,
Semantics.
but every now and then they hang out with a friend, let's just call him Bobby. Your son hangs out with Bobby, and every time he hangs out with Bobby, you find out he's lying to you about what they're doing and where they're going and who they're with. You will trust him in most circumstances, unless he's been hanging out with Bobby.
No. If you're lying to me, if I'm catching you when you're lying to me hanging out with Bobby, I'm going to be thinking that you're going to be lying to me every other time. It's just that you're,
Yeah, but yeah.
this guy's analogy sucks.
And when we think about science, we have to say, does science have any friends that cause it to tell us things that aren't true? And I think if we think through this, science loses credibility when it hangs out with its buddy politics.
No, science
What?
does. Yeah, wow.
This is this is a Christian telling me science loses credibility hanging out with politics.
Right.
Hey,
I got one word for it: projection. Yeah.
I got another word for it. He's taken a couple too many of those cough drops that you're advertising.
Hey. they did you who work for Coles.
Whenever science and politics get together, they both end up lying to us. They don't.
So what do you get? Political science then? Isn't that a course in college?
I don't know.
tell us the truth. And when we think about COVID, COVID is as much political as it is scientific. It is maybe even more political than it is scientific. And so do we want to trust the science behind COVID when we know that the science is driven?
This guy doesn't know the difference between fake news and real news.
Yeah, like
He's reading political
it's
commentary.
political in what way? Like in what way?
Science
in
isn't
that
political.
it affects what almost every damn country on the planet? Like, is that what he means? I'm not entirely sure what this guy even means.
He's not giving me a good definition of what he means by it, because he's kind of conflating things here and mixing them together. He's turning them into trying to fit a narrative is what he's doing. So I'm trying to figure out how he's trying.
But
to
he
put
has
this
his
together.
office backlit really, really cool. So he's got to know what the hell he's talking about.
Lot of books there.
Yeah.
Maybe he can read. All right, well let's let him go on, because I think we're probably missing some context here yet. I
by
doubt
politics. Let's take a look at some areas that science speaks to when it joins up with politics. Do scientists tell us the truth when they speak about the creation of the world?
Yes. Next.
Yeah, that was easy.
And the significance of human life? Are
Yes.
they credible witnesses? Well, the answer to that is no. They
Okay,
fail
you're
the
wrong.
very
Shut up.
first truth test, which is
No. Okay. Do they agree with Scripture? Well, there's your problem right there.
Right.
Is, do they agree with Scripture? And science, as it is in the secular world, teaches that the Earth is billions of years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know where he's going. He must be a young Earth creationist.
That man is not made in God's image, but is the result of an evolutionary process, and that human life has no inherent meaning. These
finally, you got
views
something
are
right.
taught throughout our nation in public schools, government-run schools, meaning
Yeah.
these are politically biased viewpoints.
No.
And by government-run
Incorrect.
schools, we mean by us. We are the government.
Right.
We have to be. I mean, that's what a democracy is all about.
Right.
Hey, moron. He's a moron. Oh, I take that back. You're an all right guy.
They're also taught in many private schools, and they're taught as science.
Yes.
And yet science is lying to children throughout public schools and their parents and to the nation about creation, about the meaning of life, and who and what man is.
Citation needed.
Yeah. How do you lie about the meaning of life?
Yeah.
I don't even
like,
know.
if you don't say anything about it, if you don't have a stance on that, and don't view that as a question that, is answerable.
Well, probably the
And
most.
you don't answer it. How is that lying about it? Just
I can't think of anything more subjective than the question of meaning of life. By the way,
right.
I mean that's probably as individual as it gets. So, yeah, how can you lie about it? Wow, he doesn't think very much, I guess.
What about when human life begins? Is science a credible witness as to when human life begins? If
Yeah.
our government were really interested in following the science, like they claim to be about COVID, then the Supreme Court would overturn Roe v. Wade.
No.
They would overturn it today. Congress would ban abortion.
So what's he saying here? I'm guessing most Christians believe that the beginning of life is at conception. Is what I mean. I can't speak for him, I guess, but I'm guessing that's what he means by that. But he's conflating life and a conscious being here is what he's doing. So he's kind of mixing them together. That's what he's doing on that. He's
Yeah, well, of course he is.
because he wants you to think of a baby in the last term or whatever. That's what he's trying to get you to picture on. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I
whoa,
mean, he's already shot himself in the foot because he's advocating for young Earth creationism on purpose.
Yeah, but he's trying to say that science is lying somehow.
But
But by twisting
he's
it around.
unqualified to even say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he proved
He's
that a long
unqualified
time
to even
ago.
say that. I mean, so like this is why you don't see like flat earther stuff, like young Earth creationism, a lot on my channel because I don't have the patience to deal. I don't see people like this like even entertaining them.
Yeah. Well, the reason that this one that I actually did it is because of the mask thing. Because it's
the mask bit. Ugh.
And to get to that mask thing, I have to go through all this shit
Right.
to get to that point, and which sucks. It's gish galloping is what that's what you got. But anyway, yeah, okay, I'm done venting.
From the moment of conception for any reason, and the president would sign it into law. Because science objectively knows that a person is a human being from the moment of conception.
I was right.
And yet we are told that scientists are confused about this. They don't know exactly when human life begins.
Right there, he used the word human life now. So now it's all of a sudden changed into that. He's turning it around. Yeah.
Kids graduate from public schools fully embracing a woman's right, so-called, to murder her own child.
No.
And
Stop.
the science.
Stop.
That's
Who says that? Who says that other than these anti-choice nitwits. Who says that?
Yep.
Nobody says that.
Nope.
Nobody says that.
The science,
Let's
there's
say-
nothing in the science books that says
You
that.
know, people say, I support women's right to choose. You know, I think abortion should be accessible and safe and rare. You know, they'll say things like, you know, bodily autonomy, you know, which I would think that, you know, conservatives such as this guy would be on board with. I mean, you know, that is kind of the conservative hallmark, but not in that particular case. I guess if you pee while sitting down, you don't get that. I don't know.
No, hey, he's way off base on that. That's just.
No,
That's
it's just.
He's pointing the finger, and you know, you can't even have an argument with someone like that. They've already made up their mind.
No, you can't. No, they're just so freaking whacked out that
Yep.
you can't even really entertain them.
All reason is lost in people like him.
Just are wrong about when human life begins. They lie. They consistently lie. Why do they lie about that? Because they don't know the facts? No, they lie because they're pushing a political agenda. And
No.
I suppose you could call it political, but body
No,
autonomy, but
No,
body
because you
autonomy
can't
is
go-
not.
If there's
Yeah.
no consensus, then it's not no. Period.
Yeah. Yep.
Next.
Nice.
they're unwilling
I like
to
it,
state
man.
the truth and educate the public about science. They don't follow the science when it comes to the meaning and value of human life.
Okay, you're
about
you're not
genetics?
permitted to use the word
If we
science
follow
anymore.
the science
This guy is a joke, isn't he?
on genetics, do we learn from science that there is a clear difference between a boy and a girl? Well, I think it's obvious. It should be obvious to anyone that if we are looking at this in a vacuum of science, that boys are boys and girls are girls, there's scientific evidence for that. But it would seem like in our culture today, science doesn't know if there is an actual difference between a boy
Oh,
and
no,
a
he's in
girl.
the gender thing, huh?
Gender confusion proliferates through our
Yeah,
culture.
I mean, this isn't something that I've looked into all that much. You know, I defer to the
Yeah.
experts in those relevant fields. You know, that isn't something I can really comment on. You know, I know it's more than two. How many? Don't know. You know,
Hey.
what are the differences? Don't know. Not something that I've studied
If it,
outside of my thing. You know, I mean, but I'll put it like this: if I have a patient that says, you know, I'm transitioning male, okay, I will call them, you know, he, him. You know, if I'm transitioning female, she, her, or however they prefer. That doesn't I don't see that as a big deal. You know.
I guess you can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for supper. That's kind of what I say.
Right.
But yeah, no. If it makes you feel better, that's man. That's what I want you to do. Yeah. But this guy, he's like, well, somehow it's disturbing his life. Somehow it's making him uncomfortable in life, and it's like, well, that's what I gotta say to him.
Word.
More obvious as far as science should be concerned than the difference between male and female. And yet how many kids graduate from high school going to science classes, graduate from college taking their science classes, and they don't know the difference or why it matters that boys are boys and girls are girls?
Actually, it sounds like they know better than you do.
Right.
You're the one that's not
They're
liking
the
the
ones that are
misunderstanding.
taking the courses, so why don't you defer to their superior education in the field, humble yourself a little bit, all right, and just say, okay, you know, here's some new information that I can take in to have my position be from completely incorrect to more correct. Like, what? Guess I'm an idiot.
Well, you know, he should take a little more time and maybe read one of his props that are sitting behind him. You know.
Right. Well, some reason I don't think that
You know what? I'm
We're well represented on those shows.
probably not.
How do you?
I'm going to
how do you
turn my
get a high
camera off
school
a sec
diploma
because I have a
and have to take
coffee cup full
2
of
or
empty
3
ones.
years of
And that's bad.
science and not know that?
Sounds good.
Science gets it wrong again. Science conveniently distorts, ignores the truth because there's a political agenda behind it. Think about.
I mean, how can you get science that freaking wrong? What did I? Yeah, okay. What is this? Science conveniently distorts, ignores the truth because there's a political agenda behind it. And she's getting into climate change. Wow. All right, we'll let it go.
Climate change. Is climate change, as scientists are telling us, a man-made crisis? It's not a man-made crisis. We can look at history and we can see that climate change has little, if anything, to do with driving cars, using fossil fuels, or spraying hairspray.
All right, I got to stop it there. Yeah, we do know that it has everything to do with driving cars, using fossil fuels, and hairspray. We know, well, hairspray isn't involved with the global warming or in that crisis. But no, the science is there. We know that humans are causing it. Don't be saying that. That's just a lie, man. You're helping destroy the planet or destroy our human race. Do you want me to go back on that? No.
Into the earth, the beauty parlor. The climate of the earth changes over time. That is what happens. That's how it works. That's how God has designed it. And there's nothing that.
But it doesn't do this. In the last 100 years, the CO2 goes right along beside it, and it's us.
No, I mean, we have, the evidence is overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you choose to ignore the evidence, then I guess you could say, whatever it is that you please, but you do so without support. So you shouldn't be taken seriously. So you should be mocked.
This guy gets everything wrong.
Like this guy.
He gets everything wrong.
Mock him.
This guy gets everything wrong. Don't tell me anything about science. Ever. He can't.
Yeah, no, he's got nothing here.
Human beings can do to control the weather, to control the climate. And, we might wonder, well, why do scientists, why does science, so-called willingly and perpetually mislead people on these issues?
I mean, I'm just going to keep on going because he's just trying to badmouth science, and yet he's trying to make science work for him at the same time. Right. It's funny as hell. So,
if we really, as a society, were committed to following the science, our schools would teach the earth is young and God created it. Our schools would teach that boys are boys and girls are girls. Our schools would teach that human life,
snowflake,
begins at conception, and that God sovereignly rules over the planet through its ebbs and flows for his glory and our good, and we are to be good stewards of what God has given us. If we really followed the science, that's what we would believe and teach.
Well,
what fucking science is pointing you to this? No science is pointing you to this. Nothing is pointing you to this. You got 738,000 words of ancient supernatural literature pointing you to this and nothing else. Shut your face hole, you freaking dolt.
There must be evidence somewhere.
Okay.
As a society, and yet our society, which...
Oh, by the way, now you know why I didn't want to do this one all by myself.
Claims to be so scientific, opposes every single one of these truth claims. Every single one.
Every single one of those truth claims, because there's no truth to them, because you can't back them up.
Yeah. They're
Did
claims.
I say you shithead? If I didn't, I meant to.
Truth claims.
Right.
He even says it right there. Their claims.
Yeah.
Claim they're opposed to them, not because primarily of morals or ethics, but the excuse they use is because of science.
The reason, not excuse, you freaking moron.
He's trying to fit morals into science too now. I don't think that works too, unless you do some neurological kind of study on it or whatever. But even there, I don't think that really goes into the. That's more of a philosophical thing. I can't fit morals into science. Can you?
Yeah.
How's he doing that? He's trying to say it somehow doesn't have it, but it should or something. I don't get it.
The science. How can that be? Because these aren't scientific issues to them. These are political issues.
What?
These are issues of public policy. And when science and politics come together.
Okay. Now, see, this is the climate change thing too. They try to say that politics are fucking somehow doing something to the scientists or whatever. The thing is, how does that work? You're talking. It's the politicians that are giving out the false narratives that doesn't exist. That's where the politics are involved with it.
Well,
that's not what the science says, though.
It comes to the science. Here's the thing. Here's why politics keeps coming into it. Because the science is not in agreement with his theology. His theology needs there to be political backing behind it, because this is what the far evangelical right has been working to in this country for decades, trying to reproduce their way into the political system, to judge appointments, to sheriff appointments, to political office, to further their Christian agenda. Like, this is what they want to do. So when science is coming in and has, any type of political backing to it, this is running absolutely counter to their goals.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's hard to make a theocracy that has a good understanding of the natural sciences, which is why they're so opposed to it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can see that politics gets involved is people trying to say that the scientists, the climate scientists, are telling us that we should quit driving our cars as much, but science doesn't do that. The climate science don't say that. They're just giving us what's happening to the planet. So they try and conflate. That's how where I see the political thing mixing them together.
You take the data, you make an analysis, and you say, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
this is the course of action. These are things that may occur. This is what we need to do. This is the trend. How we know how the trend is occurring. What can we do to alter or decrease the amount of or lessen that trend? What can we do? That's what it comes down to.
Yep. I see a lot of people trying to take that argument of what to do into what's happening with the climate. They try and combine them two, and that's how they get the other people to say, "Oh, well, the science is wrong." Then no, it's not. You're talking about two different things. I just noticed that in the past couple of years because I went into the deep rabbit hole of climate science deniers and tried to dig them out of there. They're nuts.
They lie. It's always to the detriment of science, and each of these so-called scientific claims allows for an ungodly progressive agenda to dominate the landscape. That's what science is used.
No, he's talking about science, and now all of a sudden he's like progressive agenda. Now you're
right.
Oh God. Yeah.
For today, science is no longer science. Science is a vehicle of progressives to push an ungodly agenda that is hostile towards biblical Christianity, on this
Oh,
nation
no.
and really throughout the world. And it shouldn't be any
What a
surprise if
fucking
it's
pity.
worldwide, because First John says the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. And so it's
The
not
evil
just a
one.
problem
All right.
here, it's a problem all over
All right,
the
asshole.
world. There are certainly areas
Those
where
hippie pot
scientists
smoking scientists
tell
at
the truth.
NASA.
Right. yeah.
Like my analogy about a generally truthful child, science can tell us the truth, but whenever it starts hanging out with politics, truth becomes secondary. Science becomes a liar. Suddenly, the Earth is billions of years old. No one knows the difference
Not
between a boy and a
suddenly,
girl. No one
asshole.
knows when a human being actually becomes a human being, and we can control the weather. And none of those things are true.
Yeah, and go ahead and equivocate weather and climate. Go ahead.
After
Go
he's
ahead.
done,
Let's just pretend that no one noticed that.
after he's done here, he's gonna hop on his T-Rex and ride down to the Ark, Ken Ham.
Right, yeah. He's going to get a Bronco burger with Fred frickin' Flintstone.
Scripture as well as just common sense would make that clear. So when we think about mask mandates as science, when the government gets involved in this, what happens consistently?
When people like you deny the science, like you are doing so blatantly here,
Right.
then that is why the mandate gets put in, because we can't frickin' do it ourselves without somebody telling us to do it. That's why. And you're not protecting yourself. You're not protecting yourself, dude. You're protecting other people from you giving them the virus. And that's, yeah. So there. Well, all right, sorry.
In all
He's
of these
apologizing. It's his
examples,
frickin'
when
channel.
science and government decide to link up, well, science always takes a backseat. Science is left behind. Politics dominates, and science is just used as a vehicle to push a progressive agenda. So just like you wouldn't trust your kid if he's been hanging out with Bobby, you shouldn't trust science when it merges with politics.
What an idiot.
And
Is this
so
guy's
until
name Bobby?
science begins telling the truth in the context of public policy, you can send me articles all day long about science proving that masks are effective, and I won't believe any of them. There's not a
All right, so you're fucking useless.
So we're done. We're
Right.
done.
Right.
We're done.
Like that, see, this is why I have such a hard time with these guys. You know, these guys, the flat earthers, the freaking AIG creationist bits. This is why I have such a hard time with them, because it's like, you know, you can give them all the entirety of the body of knowledge. You can take every article, print it out, and bring, you know, those 8 trains worth of articles and dump them off on their freaking desk.
Yep.
All right. And they're still going to be like, but my Bible, you know, they're freaking useless. You know, like, I don't understand how these people, you know, how these people still have access to a voice. Like,
It's more evidence to me that that's how God became this omnipotent, omniscient, or whatever, you know, because eventually you got to get so much that you can't see him, can't find him, can't hear him. You can't prove that he's there, but he's looking at you. And that's what. It's like, geez, you can't. They always move the goalposts and they jump into this other argument if you corner them or whatever. But because they want what they want, and they're being childish, and they're trying to figure out little ways around it. And that's exactly what you're doing. I can't remember his name. Whatever your name is from the Alpha and Omega Ministries. I mean, you got to stop. You should actually take this video down. I think it's still up there. This is like 2 weeks old, I think. But
yeah, Bobby needs to stop this.
yeah.
He needs to stop hanging out with Bobby.
Science needs to stop hanging out with religion. Or religion needs to stop trying to hang out with science because he can't compete.
Right. I have a train coming by, so I'm going to mute myself here.
All right, sounds good. I'll let her play for a little while then.
an article you're going to send me that's going to change my mind because science can't figure out the difference between a boy and a girl. And
yes, it can.
and so why would they be able to figure out whether a mask works? Now, if we actually look at the science,
You can take measurements, you freaking
it gets
dolt.
worse for mask
Yeah, there's plenty of studies out there too that, from like 2012, I think I read one that shows the difference between cloth versus a bandana and stuff like that.
mandates and following mask mandates. We have every reason as Christians to doubt the science. But then when we actually look at the county,
he does bring up a
ordinances
paper here,
and we look at the science behind those ordinances, we find even more reason to doubt that. That this is a political thing. This is not a scientific thing. This is not a health thing. This is a political issue. And so here I've got the Maricopa County mask ordinance up here on the screen, and this is the mandate. I think it
I can't tell where that's from.
was from late June, and there's all these reasons why they put this mandate in place. And here it says, whereas currently there is no vaccine, treatment, or cure for COVID-19. All right, so this was almost 6 months ago now. As far as I'm aware, there are vaccines. I don't plan on getting them. But I think that
I couldn't have guessed that.
out there and will
Yeah, who
soon
would've
be
thought
available. There are most certainly treatments now for COVID-19, and I think the fact that
no, negative, stop. The treatments is maintain, like, keep the person alive. That's the freaking treatment.
Okay.
There's no, like, it's the majority of the treatments for it are symptomatic, to manage the symptoms so that they don't overwhelm the patient. Oh, fuck. All right, forget it.
Well, the next line, you can see where he's getting this from. He's trying to relate it. I bet he voted for Trump.
Donald Trump recovered from COVID-19 so rapidly would indicate that there are treatments available.
Well, what exactly was that? A bunch of that cocktail that they whipped up for Donald. It was like a...
Yeah, they're trying a whole bunch of different antiviral medications, but let's face it, it is still current for 4 days, current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, whose name will not pass from my lips. He was advocating for all sorts of freaking ridiculous bullshit, leading up to his eventual infection with the COVID-19. The malaria drug and, the hydroxychloroquine, that bullshit. This is the same guy that was talking about injecting bleach. All right?
UV lights up his ass.
Yeah, but they made him a cocktail of a number of antiviral medications. Now, did that have an effect on the proliferation of COVID through his system? I don't know. I didn't look at his medical records.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Phones happen.
I thought I had it muted. Yeah, I don't know, man. How he's going by that a treatment, like that's not even a treatment or is that a treatment? That's supposed to be for somebody that's about to die, right?
It was like an experimental thing that they did.
Okay. Wow.
For it. I don't know if any of those treatments would amount to a cure. I think they're more working on the therapeutics side of things. But the question is, now that this statement in the Maricopa mask mandate is no longer valid, why do we still have a mask mandate?
What?
Why is it still there?
What's he talking about?
Are we following the science?
What's he talking about?
What was did I miss something? Like, where did he say that it was no longer valid? It was valid. Like, what was...
I'm not sure.
Like, because that to me, just seems like it just jumped in out of nowhere.
There's some in Maricopa County down in Arizona where they
Right, Maricopa County, blah, 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 whereas, I remember him saying the whereas.
right before the states went to lockdown again, and before we had this other surge. That's when this video came out, or whatever. It's a little bit after that. So, yeah, I don't. You know what?
So he's saying that they're no longer valid because Donald Trump recovered in 2 weeks. Is that seriously what I'm?
I think so. I think I'm gonna let it play here. See if he says
Donald
something.
Trump recovered, therefore, nobody need to wear a mask. It is.
He's trying to say that they're working on therapeutics, the therapeutic side of things. But the question is now that this statement in the Maricopa County mask mandate is no longer valid. Why do we still have a mask mandate? So.
Yeah,
Because masks work.
Yeah, I don't get it. Because the virus is still out there in the freaking wild. It's still transmissible. It's still mutating because, newsflash, asshole, evolution's a freaking thing.
Yeah. Well,
Even following our own reasoning, it doesn't seem that way. The next reason why they have this mandate is because they found that mandated face coverings significantly reduce the number of infections. Significantly reduce the number of infections, Maricopa County claims. And then they cite this study, a rapid systematic review of the efficacy of face masks, etc., found at this link. Now, because I care about you, I read this study so you don't have to. And I think Maricopa County
I'm going to sprain
is
an eye roll.
depending on people not actually reading the study. Let me pull this study up and I'll show you.
Yeah, do it.
Some of the things that they say here in the study. Here's the study that they explicitly refer to in that in the mandate. And so here they have this statement in the abstract that in the community, masks appeared to be effective with and without hygiene. Hand hygiene. Now that should raise some red flags. You don't.
No, it shouldn't. They're just saying that in both cases.
It's saying that masks work.
Yeah, and in both instances, it's not saying that you shouldn't wash your hands.
You don't even need to wash your hands anymore.
Yeah, what an
Just wear a
asshole.
mask. Just wear the mask.
Way
You
to
don't
get
even
that
need,
wrong.
To wash your hands, and both together are more protective. Randomized controlled trials in healthcare workers showed that respirators, if worn continually during a shift, were effective, but not if worn intermittently. Medical masks were not effective, and cloth masks even less effective.
What is I'm not familiar with intermittently.
I'm struggling to see this. Let me see if I can zoom in on my screen here.
Okay.
All right. The pandemic of COVID-19 is growing, and a shortage of masks and respirators has been reported globally. Okay. Yeah, because, we didn't have enough of them. Policies of Health Organization. And now this is just the abstract of the article.
Yeah.
This is not the entirety of the article.
Oh, yeah, I'm
This
sure.
is the abstract of the article, and we're trusting someone who believes that Noah's Ark is a thing to mark this up for us.
Yep.
Okay. So where he marked up is, down into the results and the first part of the conclusion. All right. Now, he apparently skipped over the methods, which is saying a systematic review.
Randomized.
Reviewed a
control.
bunch of clinical trials of respiratory protection by healthcare workers, sick patients, and community members was conducted. Articles, blah, 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 blah. All right. Total of 19 randomized control trials. And now this is all blurred out, and I can't even see what.
Okay. Let me try and zoom in a little bit right here.
Yeah. Go one more.
I have to.
In the community, masks appeared to be effective, and it's cut off.
Hold on. Yeah, what's going on there? Oh, there we go. I don't think I can zoom in any more than that.
Yeah, but now it's all cut off where I can't.
That might do it. Oop.
All right, so it's saying, there it is. In the community, masks appear to be effective with or without hygiene, and both together were more protective. Randomized controlled trials in the healthcare workers show that respirators, if worn continually during a shift, were effective, but not if worn intermittently, meaning that the virus could be picked up, if you were taking it on and off. All right. When you take it off, then you're exposing yourself to an environment where the virus is at large. Medical masks were not effective, and cloth masks even less effective when used by sick patients. Randomized controlled trials suggested protection of well contacts. All right. So none of this says that masks don't work.
Yeah.
Exactly. None of this says that masks don't work. The study suggests that community mask use by well people could be beneficial, particularly for COVID-19, where transmission may be pre-symptomatic. Okay, that means before the symptoms show up. That means somebody that has been exposed to it, that doesn't know that they're sick, that feels okay, that isn't running a fever, that hasn't developed a cough, that hasn't lost its sense of taste and smell, that hasn't had the diarrhea and the blood clots and, the side order of death, which, shows up. Somebody that feels okay.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got this completely freaking wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how. Cause I'm a layman. I'm a dummy. I can understand that this isn't saying what he's saying. He's trying to say that they don't work, and I see how he's sort of confused it down here. But what he's doing is he's confusing it, pretending that he has authority over knowledge on it, and then he's spreading it to his sheep. It's like
he doesn't know shit.
Yeah. It's you got to stop doing stuff like that, dude.
Yeah, no, this is dangerous.
Yeah. I'm sure there might be lives that have already been lost because of it.
I'm sure there have been.
Now, Maricopa County's ordinance says that they have found that these masks significantly reduce transmission. But the study that they cite, which they are hoping you will not read, says medical masks are not effective. And I don't know how you get less effective than not effective. Actually, I do know, and I'm going to show you in the study here in a minute. But cloth masks are even less effective. When used by sick patients, randomized controlled trials suggested protection of well contacts. In other words, when Scripture says quarantine the sick, if we do that, that can help protect well people. You didn't need a scientific study for that. You could have just read the book of Leviticus and found that out. And that's common sense. If you quarantine sick people, you're going to protect people who are well. And the study suggests community mask use by well people could be beneficial, particularly for COVID-19, where transmission may be pre-symptomatic. It could be beneficial. It isn't necessarily. It's not proven to be beneficial. Transmission may be when people are pre-symptomatic. It's not that it is. It may be. And so here they say the significant data, but there's no significant data there. All right, so let's see here if I can figure out how to work this app. All right, so we go through this study here, and we find this other in the introduction. Most authorities, except the U.S. CDC, are recommending that community members not wear a mask, and that a mask should only be worn by a sick person or a sick patient. So most authorities, in fact,
asymptomatic people, how are you supposed to know that?
You can't.
Yeah, so he's off base right there now. He doesn't even understand what he's talking about with this virus then. He doesn't know how it works. I mean, we have a pretty good grasp on how it spreads right now, don't we?
Now, here's the thing, though. Okay, here's part of the bit, all right, that his highlighting took away from. At the beginning of this paper, Right? It was talking about the mask shortage that had occurred. All right? When we didn't have enough, and we still don't have enough, to go around to, the hospital staff and, schmucks like me, which, are having to reuse masks pretty much until they disintegrate.
Yeah, don't get me started there.
So when they're talking about this, it seems like they're talking about public use of surgical masks and that kind of thing. My takeaway from that would be maybe they want to keep that in the hospitals, where or the people that are actually coming in contact with patients.
But he read it in Leviticus.
Yeah, I don't give a flying fucking rolling donut about Leviticus.
But Genesis 3:5 counters it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Authorities around the world, medical authorities, except the United States CDC, and this study was back in April and May, in the heat of the election season. So the United States alone, in the middle of a political season, decides that masks should be worn by everybody in the community. That's convenient. And again,
What?
science and politics joining.
What does he mean by that? He's just because he doesn't want to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I've heard these people saying, "Well, it's because we can't tell you what to do." Well, that's the most childish fucking thing. You're adults, and you're sitting there complaining about wearing a mask.
Yes.
I mean, there is legitimate things if somebody does have a problem breathing, because it will restrict your breathing. But but hold on, I'm not done yet. But I don't see anybody that has that much of a restricted. You'd be in an oxygen tank before you really need to fucking worry about that. I mean,
Okay. I mean, if somebody is in respiratory extremis, I'm going to put a mask on them. An oxygen mask. I can deliver oxygen through a mask.
there you go.
So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Wear a damn mask.
Yeah. At least they got off that whole bit of it retains CO2, because that was always fun.
Yeah.
hands
Or
together.
this clown may
Science
actually go there. I don't know.
We never know.
Losing out. And then we learn about a study conducted in Vietnam in a hospital to see the effectiveness of masks. Again, let me remind you, this is the study that Maricopa County is using to justify their mask mandate. A trial we conducted in Vietnam of 2-layered cotton cloth masks compared to medical masks showed a lower rate of infection in the medical mask group and a 13 times higher risk of infection in the cloth mask arm. You were 13 times more likely to get COVID if you wore a cloth mask. Well, what is everybody wearing when they go to the store? A cloth mask.
So by his logic, because people are wearing cloth masks, that we should all not wear masks.
Right. Now, does this study go into how those masks are cleaned and maintained?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, it doesn't. I guarantee it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the thing about cloth masks. They have to be maintained properly. They have to be stored properly. They have to be washed properly. Because otherwise, if you go out to the grocery store and you got one of these cloth masks, right? Mm-hmm. You go out to the grocery store and, Bobby McFrickin Arizona, whoever over here decides that, he's going to, be walking through the store being the entitled twat that he is, just breathing all over everything. He's asymptomatic. Okay. You could have COVID on the outside of that mask. You take it home, you get in your car, you take it off, you throw it in your glove box, you pick it back up. All right. You do that a couple times. Now that's transferred into the glove box. All right. So now when you put it back on, now it's on the inside of the mask and boom, you just got it. Okay. You got to wash these things. You got to take care of them.
Yeah. I mean, I did see a couple things where they did a study on what cloths actually work better or whatever. The weird one to me, and this is off topic, but I have to mention it because it's kind of interesting, was that 2 cotton layers were better than 3 cotton layers or something like that for protecting. And I don't know what that was, but
I haven't seen that. I would think it would have to do with the way the fabric was,
it was
woven or knit or however.
But how 2 is more protective than 3 is, and that could be an anomaly in the study too. So
yeah, I wouldn't be able to speak to that. I haven't seen it.
Let's go on with this mud chucker here.
Yeah, yep. It's all cloth masks.
Oh,
The study suggests cloth masks, note this now, may increase the risk of infection.
if you don't wash them.
This is not a right-wing propaganda website I'm pulling this from. This is the study cited by Maricopa County that says that cloth masks, which include even a bandana.
I wish you would have given a link to this so I could see the whole freaking study, though. But I have a feeling that they're talking.
I think there was one in the thing. I mean, you can go back and maybe write it down, take a screen grab of it or something. There was one in it. No, there was one in the course of the video, not in the content.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to go back.
Yeah, where he showed it. He did. There was a bit where he said Maricopa County showed us this link. Yeah, I clicked on it. I'm going to read it so you don't have to. But
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to get that hard into it.
Leviticus on purpose. So yeah.
Because for one reason, I bet you if we look at that whole study, they're talking about the difference between that. It's probably going to tell you the way different one. He's just cherry picking the shit out of this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And a dirty bandana stuck in your garage somewhere. Throw that thing on. That will help significantly reduce the transmission of COVID. But the study they refer to actually says cloth masks may increase the risk of infection. And he says, and then they say there are no other randomized controlled trial of cloth masks published at this time. This is the only controlled trial of cloth masks. We've made a policy. We've made a government policy that everyone has to go out with their cloth mask on. The study we've cited actually says cloth masks increase your risk of infection.
No, it didn't.
No.
Yeah. I think I'm almost done with this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's proven himself to not be at all someone that you should listen to about anything scientific, because he's totally cherry picking it. He's pissing me off is what he's doing.
Yeah.
But
if he wanted to present this in a way where if he wanted to be taken seriously, he would have linked the study in his description. At least done that. Okay, if he's going to base his bit around this particular study. But when he's going in and when I see the highlight, like the alarm bells go off, because it's like, all right, what's above or below that you're not leaning on,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so used to it because you see people, especially on YouTube, see people trying to cherry pick the shit out of something to fit their narrative or whatever.
Yeah.
But what bothers me is that people actually do fall for it, and this is such a serious freaking matter. It jeopardizes you if people aren't wearing masks. It
makes my job more difficult.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I don't know. You're killing people if you're not wearing a mask. That's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Especially at these times when we got another mutation that's possibly, UK had a mutation that's spreads more quickly, so the hospitals are
that's in Pennsylvania now.
That's
we just confirmed that in the county where I work.
Great, wonderful. Yep. Yeah, so wear masks, everybody. That's what I gotta say. Oh, hi, Beej. Hey, Aptivist.
Beej.
And JG.
Click over there, see who's here. Okay.
So
yes,
if we,
KG N95s are more effective.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Those
no,
are the
they
top.
definitely are. You know,
Those are the top.
they definitely are, but they're not always
I'm ready to
not
drive
always
this
practical.
guy's place and
Like even in practice, like on the ambulance. You know, I mean, I will wear like a surgical mask for the majority of my patient contacts. You know,
Beach said
and
can't-
if I go into something that I know is COVID hot, like a nursing home or something like that, where we've had several, patients come out of it, I'll put it on then. If the dispatch information leads me to think that COVID is likely at that address, then I will be. Then I'll put on the N95.
Beach Price is saying Canada has both UK and South Africa strains. UK will take over in March.
Yeah, that's hot. That's
Ouch.
great.
Oh, it's worse in the U.S. than Canada, I'm guessing, because they're at least a little bit behind on on the amount of infections. It's amazing how that exponentially stuff works. To get an understanding of exponential, we sure got a lesson in it, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did.
That's so hard to conceive. I mean, you think of same with climate change. It happens so slow for us, but it's exponentially growing. So, yeah. All of a sudden, it's on top of you, and you don't even realize it. I don't know. Are we done with this guy, or should we just go a little bit further?
I'm pretty done with this guy.
I don't think I could take much more of it in my brain.
I'm starting to hear my heartbeat in my ear.
Well, and now that's why I wanted somebody else to do this with me. Or he triggered me so freaking much that I couldn't even get through this damn thing with him.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to this. I mean, if he's going to sit here and pretend that he has reasons to not wear a mask and all that, that's one thing. If you're going to say that the science is unreliable, all right, you're a freaking clown. You're a joke.
See, anybody out in the chat there know
You know,
what?
I would have much more respect for him if he was just to say, the Bible doesn't say that I have to, and that's that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's essentially what he's coming down to. That's essentially what he's saying. But he's not even he doesn't even have the set to stand up and say that.
Well, here's the thing. It's one thing that we can laugh at Ken Ham and his scientific thing, or Ken Hovind or whatever. We can laugh at them because they're not doing anything. But this is people's lives when you're sitting there talking about science in a false way, and I mean, I get frustrated.
Yeah, no, I mean this.
See, anybody,
this is inexcusable.
if anybody in the chat knows what Alpha and Omega Ministries,
and that it's up here on YouTube, and it's got what is it, 22,000 at the time of the chapter here. I mean that's just not cool, dude. Not cool. What I want to know is this ministry?
I'm wondering what denomination they are.
Are they going to be responsible for the people that follow their teachings?
They're getting flocked into heaven.
Hospital bills.
They're getting flocked into heaven. That's the way they feel, of course.
Yeah.
They want the apocalypse to happen, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I'm guessing they do. I bet they're end of timers too. What denomination is this Alpha and Omega ministry from? Yeah, Bree says she doesn't know it either.
No.
I know I've seen them doing. The guy that is in charge of it. This guy's like a sit-in for it or whatever. Or at least he said it was. But they, between Braxton, the Trinity Ministries, and them, they had some debate going on between them on some of their video. I can't remember which one, but I don't even care anymore. I just know that this guy here was, God.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I suppose we've been hour and 15 minutes at it.
Yeah, it's been a bit. It's been
actually longer than that because we started 22.
Yeah, we started a little early trying to get some of the tech gremlins out, and we still didn't get the echo right. I'm sorry about that at the beginning.
Yeah, I had problems too. So, anyway,
James White comes up with it, does it? I'm finally looking at the YouTube.
The chat
box now because I can't do both. It freaks me out for the most part. Scrolling back. Apetivist has some excellent timing for muting themselves, it seems. I saw the bit about the Canada strains. Yeah, I mean, James White is the director. Oh, no, great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, James White. Oh, yeah, that's who was debating with Braxton or something like that. I don't know about what, but yeah, he's got like a young Earther then or whatever, isn't he?
Yeah, more of that.
Oh yeah, total anti-science.
Yeah, very much. No, I mean this guy. This is dangerous. Right, this type of preaching is dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that. If you want to say that science is gotten into bed with government, and all this, if it had, you would be fined for saying that type of shit.
Yeah.
Because now you're harming people. Like, why these people can't be criminally liable. Is kind of confusing to me.
I don't say it out loud, but I will now. When I see somebody not wearing a mask, you're assaulting me and my family because that's the way I'm starting to look at it even more now, though. Mm-hmm. I think I'm starting to feel more that way because they're pushing me to that part of it. So
yeah. I get what you're saying. I mean, this is,
you want to be polite, but it's getting hard. It's getting hard not to be anymore.
I'm guessing
I've
walked
you don't.
up to motherfuckers in the grocery store. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me in my truck that they ain't wearing one, and I'm sorry, but if you're going to be in the back of the ambulance with me, you're wearing one.
Yep.
I'm not asking you. I'm not requesting it. I am ordering you. These are the terms of service. You don't like it, get the hell out of my truck.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to end this on Apetivist's last thing here that he said. Anti-intellectualism will be the death of us all. It must be outlawed. And I agree with that. And I'm going to shut her down, guys, because this is a great show. I'm glad all you guys came out. I've seen a couple of you that I haven't seen for a while and everything. Yeah. And we'll have to do this again, man.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for everybody that showed up. It's been great.
We'll get a less triggering video next time.
Yell at somebody.
We'll get a less triggering video next time.
Right.
All right. You take care. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Okay, take it easy.